YouTube, this is Wolf Games, and I'm doing a deck profile of Monarchs. It may not look like the best Monarch deck, but it's actually quite decent for what it is. Most of it actually technically requires two Monarch structure decks, which is interesting for what it is. Usually for budget decks you would want 3, but the cards you would usually need 3 of you'll see pretty quickly, but there's some other cards in it that you can get from sets. There's a card in it you can get from a set nowadays, which made it a whole lot easier. Otherwise, this deck wouldn't be easy and pretty expensive to make. There's 2 cards in it that you'd probably need to get from someone, which is the way I got it. And you'd probably, if possible, you could either trade it or buy it off someone or online, and either one. But I got it off a friend, but they come in the structure deck also. So if you want them at the easiest, buy 3 structure decks. But you won't need all the cards. There's not a side deck for this one yet, but I'll probably upload this in a while. So let's get to the profile, shall we? The first monster in this deck I'm gonna go over the level 8 Monarchs first. First, I play 1 copy of either the Heavenly Monarch. Well, you don't really have a choice but to play one because this card's limited. It grants you access but to tributing, summoning this card on your opponent's turn. It's a quick effect, so you can activate it at any time. By banishing 1 Monarch spell or trap card. The tributes do have to come from your field unless you use a different card, which is also in this deck. Even limited also. Next card, Erebus the Underworld Monarch. Usually people run 2 or 3 of this guy. He has a really cool effect that activates when he's tribute summoned. You send 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck to the graveyard. He doesn't target whatsoever. He either shuffles 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field into the deck, or 1 random card from their hand into the deck or graveyard. Your choice. But to do the effect, you send 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck to the graveyard. Same thing with either. Next, Mobius the Mega Monarch. He's not too expensive, but he's very good for spell and trap destruction. But if you tribute summon him by tributing a water monster, your opponent can't activate those targeted 3 cards in response to this effect, destroying them. So that's really good. He comes from let's see. What set does he come from? Oh, dang it, I can't remember 4 letters, but you'll probably find it. Just go online and type in LVAL. And, okay, next guy. Caius the Mega Monarch. This is the guy, he comes in a different structure deck. He's very expensive if you get him in Secret Rare, or Ultra Rare. But you get him in the new Layer of Darkness structure deck. Plus his banishing effect, he's not to be underestimated. If you're a Monarch player, you'd probably know about him. Caius the Shadow Monarch. One of him I run. The others I run 1 of also. For the level 8s, this guy I run 1 of. Stalos, the Firestorm Monarch. He's burn damage. Caius is banish and burn. Ryza he bounces cards on the field back to the hand off your opponent's field. And I used him once, and I ended up bricking one of my friend's hands by bouncing a Water Dragon again back to the top of his deck at the worst moment possible for him. 2 Mobius the Frost Monarch. That's just helping out with the Mobius the Mega Monarch. I've got other Dark Monsters in this deck, so you don't have to run 2 Caius the Shadow Monarch. 3 Edios the Underworld Squire, and 3 Ida the Heavenly Squire. These are pretty good. Edios grants you 1 extra normal summon if he's normal or special summon. When Ida is normal or special summon, she special summons a monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck. So what you would do is you normal summon her, and you would special summon Edios. So that would he would grant you your extra normal summon. then so you would, if possible, you could go into the next monster, and if this one's tributed, you get an extra normal summon. So at most, you could probably get 3 normal summons in one turn. Very good. Oh, word of advice: Ida, if she ever leaves the field whatsoever, she will bounce a Banished Monarch spell or trap card back to your hand. There's a Monarch spell or trap card in this deck, which at that rate, it's limited also, but I abused it brutally. Yeah. Edios, if he's in the graveyard, you banish him and you summon either a Squire or a Vassal from your graveyard, so that will help with tribute summons. 2 Mithra. She can special summon herself by summoning a token to your opponent's field. Same stats, but level 1. And same act. And if she's tributed for a tribute summon, grants you an extra normal summon. Grants you an extra tribute summon in addition to your normal summon. 2 Garums. He's good for bouncing monarchs back to your hand, so you can reuse their effects if you need to. Yeah. 1 Lucius. I don't commonly use him, but if you tribute him, you can look at your opponent's back row and face down. 1 Berlineth. He can special summon himself by discarding 1 card. Plus, if he's tributed for a tribute summon, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish 1 card from their hand, so that can deal with hand traps. 1 Escher. I haven't gone into many plays with him. I just put him in because he's water, and he can special summon himself through back row if your opponent controls 2 or more spell or trap cards. Lanrod the Rock Vessel. Special summon himself by targeting 1 of your opponent's monster. Secondary effect, not commonly used. So 2 Domain. Very good. Locks your opponent out of their extra deck, plus can help lower your Monarch's levels. Also, you can either lower your level 6s down to level 4s, or your level 8s down to level 6s, which will only take it so 1 tribute would be needed. 1 Panthism. This is the banished one. And it's a pot of greed, technically, if you discard 1 card, so it draws 2. That effect is not once per turn. The other effect that is once per turn, it's if you banish it from your graveyard. You go into your deck, you select 3 Monarch spell or trap cards, your opponent picks 1 of them and it adds it to your hand, and they add it to your hand. Others get shuffled back in. That effect you can use in the same turn with the draw power. Otherwise, the draw power you can use as many times as you want a turn, as long as you have them. But this is limited, so yeah. Stormforth. That allows you to tribute your opponent's monsters, also limited for a tribute summon. Tenacity. Reveal 1 Monarch in your hand, and Mega Monarch or regular Monarch, and you search your deck for a Monarch spell or trap. 2 Returns. If you tribute summon a monster, you can search your deck for either one of the level 8 Monarchs or the lower level Monarchs, as long as they stay within the attack range of 2400 and 2800. 2 March of the Monarchs. This protects your Monarchs from being your tribute summon monsters, any of them, and from being destroyed by battle or card effects, or targeted by card effects. No, not by battle. Destroyed by card effects or targeted by card effects. 2 Strike of the Monarch. This is a card you do not want in your hand. This card you want to get into the graveyard as fast as possible, because that can attribute change, which could really change the game for Caius or Mobius. So you can mend attributes to your will. So you banish it from your graveyard, you select an attribute, all monsters on the field become that attribute. So what you do is you use that with Caius, then you could really mess your opponent up. Same thing with Mobius. You declare like water or dark, they either become water or dark. All monsters on the field. Get this in the graveyard, or I don't use its first effect. Second effect is needed. 1 Monarch's Erupt. I only run 1 because you can search it easily with Tenacity. And keep the tribute summon monster on the field at all times, otherwise this thing leaves the field during the end phase. As if you don't control a tribute summon. But while you have a tribute summon monster, all monsters that aren't tribute summon, it has their effects negated. So very annoying to deal with if your opponent's running special summons. One escalation, which can easily search, that's why I only run one. It allows you to tribute summon during your opponent's main phase or their battle phase. Then if you combo it with this Monarch Stormforth, that you can tribute summon during their main phase or battle phase. The Monarch Stormforth is a quick play, so tribute their attacking monster during their battle phase, and summon one of your other monarchs and clear out their field a bit more. One Prime Monarch, this is good for recycling and draw power. It's a continuous. First effect, it stays on the field once per turn. And 2 Monarchs Awaken. This has helped me in a couple situations. It negates your Monarch's effect, but you would have already used its effect, and it stays unaffected by card effects, except for it's unaffected by all card effects except for that one, till the end of the turn. And that is the deck profile for my Monarch deck. Like, very cheap deck actually to make. This deck comes to like a cost of like total of $18 at most you could do for. So very cheap to make. If you order the cards, it's very simple to make, and it's very annoying for your opponents to deal with. Rogue deck, I love them. That's my profile. So, see you in the next video.